Hi guys, I'm Andrielle. If you're here, you're probably wondering about narcissism, and I can just tell you from my experience, I went from being with an overt, grandiose ex-husband to then having a covert boyfriend shortly after that. So this video is just going to be about the differences and similarities I noticed between the two, and then which one I think is the absolute worst of them all, well, between the two of them. So that's the experience I have with it. I've done tons of research about it. As I was with the overt grandiose, I researched that, and then going to the covert, I researched that a ton. So it's like between the firsthand experience and all the research I've done, this is just my thoughts and the things I noticed between the differences, similarities, and then who was the worst. So we'll get into it, but I made some notes too so I can try to be clear, because so much happened with each of them. If you've been with a narcissist, I'm sure you know that they keep you in a fog. So it's hard to even keep your thoughts straight and keep track. But we'll start with just explaining a little bit about each one. So we'll start with the overt. I was with the overt ex-husband, and I just want to throw in here too real quick while I'm thinking of it, because my thoughts go so fast and I'll forget. But they say that when you leave one narcissist, along comes another one like that, ready to get you, because they like to get you when you're in a weak, vulnerable position, even if you think you're not weak. Even I didn't see myself as weak when I left my ex-husband overt. I thought I felt really strong. I felt really good. I felt like a huge weight lifted off of me. I thought I was doing okay, but no, apparently not, because then here comes the covert to get me, because that's what they do, is get you when you're in a weak, vulnerable position. And it's kind of like the universe testing you to see, did you learn your lesson? So apparently not. I had to go through two of them, which is why I'm here now, to try to bring awareness and help whoever out there needs to hear this. And if this resonates with you, I just hope I can help in any way. So, all right, let's get into it. So the overt, when you think overt, think over the top. They're just grandiose. It is what it sounds like. They just think they're, the greatest thing since sliced bread, as they say. So they're very loud, very aggressive. They like conflict. They're angry, physically aggressive. They're angry. Let me just reemphasize the anger. I can't tell you with my overt ex-husband, the anger, how many times, I couldn't even talk to him, and he was a pot smoker too. And I could not talk to him until in the mornings, until he had gone down and smoked his pot. And that was about the only time I could deal with him, or we could even coexist, really. And then even in the middle of the night, if I would accidentally bump him or something, he would wake up and just about throw me out of bed, because that's how angry he just had, an anger. So that's the overt, loud, aggressive, like conflict. They're angry, physically aggressive, and he would fight with everyone, anywhere, anytime. He just loved conflict. It was just ridiculous. So going to the covert, think covert operation. They're subtle, sneaky, under the radar. They're it's like undercover. It's like an undercover operation, a covert operation. They have very shallow friendships. They're passive aggressive instead of aggressive like the overt. They are passive aggressive. So they avoid conflict. They hate conflict. They won't have a conversation with you, even if it's just a grown adult conversation about the relationship or whatever, an issue in the relationship or whatever. They can't have that conversation. They will do everything to avoid it, and then they will go behind your back, and if they feel like you've upset them in some way, they'll go behind your back and try to get revenge, basically, for upsetting them or bringing up a topic that they can't handle, because they're children. And they're always the victim, okay? It's always everyone else's fault. They can't take any accountability or responsibility or blame. It's always someone else's fault. They are always the victim, okay? That's the covert. So the big difference is the overt is aggressive, they like conflict, and the covert is subtle, sneaky, passive aggressive. They avoid conflict. So those are the two big differences. But now in actually dealing with them, the big thing right off the bat is that I wasn't love bombed with the overt as I was the covert. The covert really did a number on me, okay? So he love bombed me, which I hadn't experienced before with the overt. The overt was, it was just kind of, we'd known each other a long time, but he kind of progressed with age, and his narcissism or traits definitely got worse with age. I mean, he was bad, but the covert love bombed me, and that was the worst. Like, that was just the worst. The love bombing and future faking with the covert was just the worst. They pretend to be someone they're not. They have this mask on, and it's like, at least with the overt, you know what you're getting. You pretty much know what you're getting. But with the covert, that's what it is. It's an undercover operation. They're sneaky and they lie and love bomb you and future fake you, and that's where it hurts. That's where it gets bad. Because I can tell you, even with my overt ex-husband, he did all kinds of terrible things, especially when I was leaving him during the divorce. I mean, he stole my dog, he stole my credit card, and racked up thousands of dollars in money after I had left filing for a divorce. Like, that's illegal still. He hacked all my accounts. He tried to hack in the cameras where I'd moved to my new apartment. Tried to hack my cameras, was stalking me, hacked into my social media, was messaging family and friends pretending to be me, and then he was messaging them just threatening them. So, I mean, he was bad. He did a lot, and that was bad. But still, nothing compares to what the covert put me through. In my opinion, obviously, for me, the covert was the absolute worst and most dangerous narcissist ever out there. Like, really, you just have to take your time, because that's what they do. They like to rush you. They like to rush you and lock you down and get to where they know that they have you, and now they can start the devaluing, basically. Sorry. They like to get where they know they have you, and now they can start the devaluing process, which we'll get into that on my podcast more, but I just wanted to, I'm kind of cheating a little because I'm talking about the differences in overt to covert in my podcast as well, but it's not coming out until the very last episode of season 1. So I'm kind of cheating a little, and I wanted to just get this out here now because I just feel like this is important for people to know, so people can see the differences and spot the differences and just realize what you're dealing with and realize what you're working with and see the signs. And if you feel like you recognize these, then you know you're probably in a toxic situation and you need to get out. Because that's what helped me, was watching content like this and realizing the reality of the situation. Like, all of that future faking, the mask, the future faking, the love bombing, it was all fake. It wasn't real. None of it was real. You can't love someone that isn't real. They're not real, okay? But let me tell you though, going no contact, I mean, you have to end up going no contact is what you have to do. And when you do that, the longer you go no contact, you will get stronger. You will have more clarity. Like, it gets better and better every day, okay? It is hard in the beginning, but really, every time you break the no contact and you even try to talk with them again, not that you even want to get back with them, but yeah, you're hoping that they're going to miraculously change and be the person, that fake person you thought they were, and they're not. They're not. So just don't waste your time. Don't waste your breath. Don't cause yourself the aggravation, because when you talk to them again, you're just going to get pissed off. Like, they're just going to piss you off. So just don't bother. They're not changing. They're going to keep being that same person. Every time you break that no contact, they're still going to be that terrible, shitty person that they were and have been to you the whole time, besides the love bombing part. So, like, just don't save yourself the time, energy, heartache, and hassle, and go no contact. And every day you're no contact, you will get stronger. Even if you have to have a night and just like cry or whatever and be a little bit sad and mourn the loss of the person you thought they were, mourn. That's what it is. You're kind of going through the stages of grieving. So you kind of do just have to mourn that person and that future you thought you had and you thought you were going to have. It was all fake. It didn't exist, okay? That's what you have to get in your head. That's what you have to realize. You have to get that in your head. It was fake. They're toxic. They're terrible. They're mean to you, okay? They treat you like shit. Like, get out. Okay, I'm sorry. I just am passionate about this because just no one deserves that. No one deserves that. No one deserves what they put you through. No one deserves to be treated that way. It's really quite just frankly disgusting behavior, and no one deserves that. So we all just have to get better and wiser and just know better and do better going forward, okay? And the biggest thing I can say is take your time. Just take your time and be happy, whole, and healed first on your own, because that's one of the reasons these narcissists pick you, is because you have some kind of wound. You have some kind of inner wound, inner work to do, probably childhood trauma. A lot of us do, and the narcissists love empaths, you know. So that's why they pick us, because we have, you know, wounds. So what we need to do, these narcissists are a lesson for us, and what we need to do is work on ourselves, become happy, healed, and whole on our own, and realize we don't need anyone to complete us. We are complete. We are whole. We're happy by ourselves, on our own, in our own place, in our own apartment, by ourselves. We're happy, okay? This is all we need. And if we find someone that wants to actually add value to our lives and not control us, belittle us, criticize us, just all the things, devalue us, when we find someone that actually wants to add value and love us and cherish us and appreciate us and respect us for who we are and that light in us, and they don't want to take our light, but they want to add to that light, that's the person, okay? So anyways, we're all getting there. We're still getting there. We all have our own journey, and we all have to figure it out, you know, and we will. But the most important thing is figuring out yourself, who you are inside, and being happy and whole with yourself. I've got a lot of notes here, so bear with me, please. Bear with me, please. So yeah, here's a point. With the covert narcissist, it obviously took me a lot longer to realize that he was a narcissist, because he seemed like such a nice guy. That's the other thing. These covert narcissists seem like such nice guys. They're like almost humble. They seem almost humble. But still, they have an arrogance about them. There's still an arrogance, and mine had a very like stoic personality. He had a very stoic expression. There was just still always an arrogance, because at both of their cores, they're still both full of shame and insecurity. They just have manifested in different ways, but they still do all the same traits of devaluing, criticizing, you know, blame shifting. They still just have the same core base insecurities of who they are. But so the covert took me a lot longer to realize, because, you know, he just seemed like a humble, nice guy. They have a lot of shallow friendships. So there was a lot of people that acted like he was such a great guy, you know, but that's not the case. Covert needs more physical validation. So my covert was the actual cheater, and he cheated and had a lot of supplies, physical form of supply, which is another disgust to me. It's kind of hard to get on here and even talk about it still, because it just pisses me off. But the overt, he had like a corn addiction. I don't know what I'm allowed to say on here, but he had a corn addiction. That was a big problem with us, our whole relationship. But he didn't go out and physically cheat, because he was always home. I always know where he was. He was always home. Yeah, I mean, that was the difference between the two in my situation, in my case. I'm not saying this is the case with all of them, but mine, the covert was the actual physical cheater, and the overt had more of the online corn addiction problem. I talked about my covert was very stoic. I get into a lot of this in the podcast, so if you can wait for the last episode of the season 1 podcast, you'll hear more. But those are just the big things I just kind of wanted to touch on quickly and just tell a little bit of my story, because I know there might be people kind of wondering. Those are some of the big differences. So, you know, they're both controlling, manipulative, just, you know, they want you to be their personal assistant and slave. That was true for both. Both used triangulation, where you basically use other people or even pets to make you feel insecure. Most cases it's going to be they're using other women to make you feel insecure in some way. Some other girl they know, or just little comments, or even taking advice from other people and not yours. Stuff like that. Or they'll say, oh, so-and-so's wife does this or that. Just things like that. They're so good about being subtle, manipulative, and slipping in, that triangulation and devaluing. They're good. They're just master manipulators, guys. I call them this all the time. Master manipulators, okay? Just terrible. And they both will use you and drain all your resources as well. But the overt is more likely to make something of themselves because they just have that inflated, falsely inflated sense of ego, and they don't care who they have to step on or who they hurt along the way. They'll step on whoever they need to get wherever they need to be in their minds, okay? So they do have a higher chance of becoming successful, which I can say that about my ex-husband. And he was very smart and he was driven in that way. Really, the worst between the two, after everything my ex-husband did to me, not to mention he got us raided by the actual police. We lived in a nice neighborhood, nice suburb area, nice families, beautiful part of town, and we got raided by the police because of him, because he thought he was so smart and above the law. He thought he was so much smarter than everyone and anything all the time. Not to mention they're notorious for getting speeding tickets, parking tickets. They just think the laws don't apply to them. They are above the law. That's with the overt. So that was my ex-husband. After all the things he did to me, still the worst one was the covert. The mental and emotional toll he took on me was so much worse than the overt. All the things my overt did was nothing compared to the toll that the covert took on me, with mentally, emotionally, all of it. But honestly, I feel like these narcissists are sent here to teach us a lesson, and this is the universe's way of seeing, are you going to learn your lesson, or are you going to go back into those toxic patterns and toxic routines? And they're going to keep sending you the lesson until you learn it. And I think these narcissists are sent to get us forward into our next, elevate us to the next timeline, shift us, quantum leaping, all that. It's meant to, I can't think of the word right now, but ascend, we're to ascend to our highest timeline, okay? So it's we should be getting on that frequency. So I can talk more about that another time. I know this has probably gone on longer than I meant to, and I'm sorry, but there's a lot to say with these narcissists. There's so much to say, if you've been through it, I don't know. I hope this helped you. I hope this is helpful. If this helped you, let me know in the comments or give this a like or whatever. If you want to subscribe, whatever. If you want to learn about narcissism or anything, I just want this to be a place we can heal and live our best lives and live our highest timeline. Be the best possible version of ourselves. So that's what we're always doing here. Always learning, always growing. Nothing is a mistake. Everything is meant to teach us and move us on to that next level. We're always going higher and higher in this journey. I guess that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope this is helpful, and stay strong. You got this. I love you. As always, you're going to come out so much better and so much stronger on the other side. I'll see you soon. Bye.